Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Scatterpot podcast. Wow! Oh my gosh, I did not know I was going to do that just now.
Yeah.
But thank you everyone for listening to the Scatterpot podcast. This is a show where we try our best to make every last second of your ears uncomfortable because volume is scattered.
I like that.
That's actually one of your better openings. I'll give you that.
Well, I think last week's opening was pretty good.
No.
Hubert loved it.
Hubert did. I didn't.
Hubert was good.
I don't know what made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, no. Hubert enjoyed it a lot.
I thought it was funny.
I did not.
I was planning on
I know.
I was peeing at a urinal.
I was about to say.
I was like,
we forgot to mention this. Josh said he practiced that one.
I did. I was peeing at a urinal. I was like, this is the Scatterpot podcast.
Oh, all right. So, nothing really special going on. Finals are behind us. Summer has begun.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Lee's still married.
That's right. Thank God. She should leave me.
Now, Hubert and I had a discussion before the podcast on warehouse jobs. Because Hubert and I have both... Hubert's currently working in a warehouse, and I used to work in a warehouse.
Starting to get hot.
It's
It's a bit
ridiculous.
toasty. If you don't move and you just imagine yourself in a freezer, you feel good.
Yeah.
No.
You're-
No.
I'd rather be freezing than
Dude,
sweating.
like, here's the thing. Let's have a quick discussion on this. Hot versus cold. Would you rather be hot or rather be cold?
Cold.
Cold.
Because you can get hot easy.
See, 'cause that's the thing. Cal Key has said it the best. Alright? And this is Cal Key's little quote. I'm paraphrasing, but this is essentially what he says. When it's cold, you can just throw on an extra layer, grab a blanket. He says, but once you're butt naked in front of 3 fans, there's not much else you can do.
That is so true.
It's just...
You're at the mercy.
I love that. I love that.
It's like,
Especially when you live in a place, so like, I don't want to rag on my landlords. I love them to death.
They
But
won't
they're
let you
two
walk around butt
elderly
naked.
people. There are 2 elderly people who do not... To them, 75 degrees is comfortable. And they won't let us take our, like, AC. We have to do it behind their backs, or I'm going to have to go up and say, please, we live here. I will pay you more if I have to a month, but I need to put my stuff on 69.
See, now I'm going to let you know this, Josh. My dad's the exact same way.
He likes it, but hot too?
He likes it, but... Dude, like... Alright. Like, he likes it so butt hot, we didn't even have our AC unit on yesterday.
We're saving money. And you're killing my soul!
I know. And he turned it on, and this is something legit. This is a conversation we had. It was nice and cool and chill. This all today, because I didn't have classes today. Because I'm out of school. But, like, I was just chilling, and it was super cool, and it was super nice. And then my dad came home, and he's like, ooh, it's freezing in here. And I'm like, it's lovely. And he says, I'm just going to turn it up some. And he says, I turned it to 78. And I'm like,
why would you do such a thing?
so it's actually really toasty right now in the basement, which is why we have an oscillating fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I hope it's not too noisy.
It's not. These microphones. If I brought down the box fan, we may have had a problem because that sucker is like a freaking jet taking off. But so Hubert, how hot is your warehouse typically? Like, is it the warehouse you work at?
If I'm not in front of a fan,
Mm-hmm.
I will be sweating.
Okay, so it was same thing at Brownlee's, but this was the dumb thing. I'm assuming your warehouse has fans like throughout.
Yeah.
Well, like, and I don't mean like an oscillating fan. I mean like
Yeah.
big, giant
We have one of the very big.
industrial fans. Okay, so my warehouse had 3 industrial fans in the back, and I feel like that's a law for warehouses. I think they have to remain a certain temperature. But here's the dumb thing: so we had 3 fans on, we never turned them on because it actually got hotter when we turned them on. And you may be like, that doesn't make sense. How is turning on the fans make it hotter in a warehouse? Because Brownlee's, love them. Great. It was a great time working there. Got paid a lot. Lovely company. Their warehouse is in the middle of nowhere. I've taken to you where their warehouse is.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of nowhere. Now behind the warehouse is a swamp. So when you turn on the fans, it's swamp air just whoosh through the warehouse. So technically it's cooler, but it is more humid and it's thicker and it's hot. It's groggy and disgusting. And then at the end of the summer, we finally got 3 oscillating fans. And it was funny because you'd see someone slow down as they walked near the fan. And these were like industrial strength fans. These were beautiful. Because it was like, and it added some noise so it wasn't dead quiet in there either. And we'd walk by and someone would walk by the fan and you're just like,
Yeah,
and my favorite part was we had a baler where we would crunch down on our boxes like you do, and we had a station called the cutting station next to it, and cutting station was a bit extra of a term. Cutting station, it was legit a box we turned upside down. We put a piece of plywood on top and then a cover blanket on top of it. And so that was where we didn't put a cover blanket. We just put a piece of we put a cover blanket, then the plywood. And then basically what we would do on that table is we put a box on there, cut it with our knife so it could fit in the baler. Now, conveniently, somehow, everyone was cutting boxes when the fan came in right next to the cutting station. Everyone had a box to cut, and it took them half an hour to cut it. They were like, like, oh man, working hard.
This box, man.
Oh, wait, Josh, what are you doing on your laptop?
I'm just reading something so sad.
Stop reading, Josh. Do podcast content.
Well, I was going to talk about it afterwards, so I was like, this is so sad, but it's news, so I guess I can't.
No, you know the rules.
I know the rules.
You know the rules.
It's just about a person dying.
Oh.
Because they wanted to save their puppies. I know, it's like, what? I don't want to laugh. That's so bad.
Dang.
I'm not laughing.
You always get a new puppy. But you can't get another human life.
Well, you can't get the same puppies either, but...
You can say this.
Also, you get like you can get a special puppy if you know what I mean.
What?
What? I'm saying you could get a Barkley.
And what does the Lord require of you?
And what's the funniest? You know what? No. Do you want to know the funniest part of what Josh just did? That camera's not even there anymore.
I wasn't even looking that way.
He was looking at the...
I was just
Oh, you were
at that.
looking at that. I thought you were looking up at the camera, like that used to be up in the corner there, and you're like, and what does the Lord? Yeah, no. So, one thing is, do you remember what Daniel texted us a little while ago? Daniel Russell, our friend. What he said we should do to this room.
Oh, is he watching now?
Yeah, he's watching now. I don't think he's made us a jingle yet. He said that we should renovate this room.
Oh,
I agree 100%.
But how would we renovate it?
tear down this wall. Tear down that wall. Tear down this wall.
That's a load-bearing wall over there.
Tear down that wall.
Well, technically that's not a load-bearing wall, technically.
Well, from what I have in my own noggin.
What is in Josh Lee's noggin? Because currently it's a lovely little basement we're in. It has like Jesus things all around the wall, like that sign over there by you. What does it say, Josh?
And
red
what
one?
does the Lord require of you? To act justly and love mercy and walk humbly with your God.
Micah 6.
Micah 6:8.
It says humbly with your God.
With your God, because that's from the Old Testament,
Yeah.
where God had His elect people.
With your
And then
God.
behind Josh, there's a thing that says, "The will of God will never take you where the grace of God will
Where the grace of God
It will not
Will
protect you.
Protect you
yeah."
Pretty deep.
with a covering.
And then behind Huber is a thing that just says Hanley.
Nice.
And then behind me,
There's no room for fear when you have faith. Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. His
What
love
does
endures
that-
forever.
What does that one over there say?
that one over there says,
Can't even read that.
prayer is less about changing the world and more about changing ourselves.
Yeah, I love it.
So it's all these little Jesus quotes and a giant
honking
Two-
lost the TV.
two.
And I think it'd be
we didn't have it on last
It
week.
would be so cool to have this still here and like to upload our logo onto it.
Dude, this TV,
It can stay there. It doesn't have to go anywhere, but we can.
Josh, I'm just telling you, if you had ever thought about moving the TV, that would be 100% a you thing to do.
No, I would not want to move it. I would just want to put.
Our logo on it.
Yeah, how would you do that? How could we? because I know with certain like Apple TV and stuff, you can like quickly pop up a picture on there and it just stays.
Well, I'm just
Could
gonna tell
you
you
do that with this? Could we hook up Apple TV to this?
hypothetically, yes,
Oh,
But
but
color though.
like, yeah, this TV's color spectrum's off.
And then these are just iPhone cameras too.
Like, this isn't. There's no reason for us to put the logo up here because we only have cameras on us. The only way you can see the TV is slightly in Huber's camera.
good point. Never mind.
It is a good idea, but
It's a cool idea, but like I think this TV will just forever be random TV that we can randomly watch occasionally.
Well, then I would definitely want to put like, I don't know. I guess it would mainly be just on this wall.
By Huber.
Because there's that weird ledge and the door's
Yeah.
unnecessary. So
Yeah.
like just cover it with like wood.
Dang. I was
And
just
then
thinking we hang up.
could paint these walls
Mm-hmm.
and then cover them with that sound stuff.
See, we could do that, or we can cover it with just cool stuff in general.
But we definitely need to put the sound stuff on.
Fair.
this is completely off topic. But I just remember that because I was looking at the TV for a second.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I was watching Hulu. This is the first time a car commercial actually made me look up the car because I wanted to buy it.
What was the car?
Which car?
It was a Lexus something, and it was a really nice Lexus, and I was like, wow, I want that car.
Was it a sports car?
Yeah.
Was it the IS 350?
I don't remember exactly.
Because the IS 350's gone through some major renovations.
It looks good.
Sexiness.
It sounds good, but it's like 60,000. I was like,
Yeah.
not in my lifetime.
There's about 4 different vehicles that I dream of owning.
Mm.
One of them I know I will own because I'm determined to own it, and that is the Subaru Crosstrek, which I don't know if you've seen it. It's like a nice little hatchback.
I've seen it.
It's a little bit off the ground because it's an all-wheel drive, Subaru like adventure car.
Adventures out there.
And I think they're just great. They look good. They function. I mean, one of my good buddies is a mechanic. He helped me replace my brake pads on my truck, which is when you can do it yourself, you just feel like a freaking awesome.
Oh, yeah,
You
I've
feel
done
cool.
it before. Yeah.
You're like, man, I just
It
did
took,
this.
it took like forever though.
It did?
Yeah,
Man, we
because
flew through.
well,
it.
he was. Did
Hubert.
he take it to his shop?
No.
Hold on. I'm just gonna say this. Your microphone's like cock turned.
Yeah, it is.
So like turn it like towards you a little more.
Put it back and hold on.
You have to screw it all the way.
No, this isn't screwed all the way.
I know. So
But
No,
this
no,
is,
it's fine.
this is screwed all the way now.
Just face it your way.
This is.
Oh, that squeak came through. Squeak.
that's weird because
Yeah.
I know with mine, like I can I can screw it on, but then once it reaches like the technical stopping point, I can go past that to like readjust it at certain places so it doesn't loosen. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've got a shock mount.
Speak.
But
Speak.
yeah.
And
So the
you shall
Subaru
die.
Crosstrek is like the car I will own one day.
Right.
Because I think it's such a dope car. If I could own, like my dream, is a truck. Actually, it's the Toyota
Really?
Tacoma.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like honestly, like the 2015-16 model is just like so good, so good.
See, that's where I differ from the rest of you guys. I don't have a dream car.
You're fine with.
I love my car.
He loves Trayvon too much.
That's too long.
Well, like, because Trayvon's like the best of all worlds.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
He's a box. There are no world boxes out there. There's no box worlds.
Minecraft.
That's not a real world.
Cube World.
Cube world's not real. I'm talking about in our physical dimension.
Sweden.
Have you guys been watching any of the Node VR stuff?
Yes.
I'm in love with VR right now.
I mean,
I can do VR on my computer. but
technically
it's
I
like
can too. I know VR is just like the thing is VR is at a point right now where it's a cool concept, but the problem is it's too expensive for an average consumer to purchase on top
Oh, of
of
course.
a PC or a console to
That
run
can
it.
run it.
What I love watching
Well-
though is just the progression.
Oh,
and
yeah,
seeing
of
someone-
when we are going to legitimately have freaking.
Well,
Netgear.
well,
It'll be soon.
here's the problem. Like,
That's so cool.
so with VR in general, it's like VR is a really cool concept. It's stupid expensive
Mm-hmm.
because you need a PC or a PS4, mainly a PC that can run it. Mike, isn't Xbox eventually getting VR support, or the Xbox?
I would assume so.
I think the Xbox One X has VR support. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it does. because I think they showed off some stuff at, like, last E3 for it. And so you have that. You have so after spending all this money on VR stuff, there aren't that many like standout amazing games for it, and the reason for that is because like it's so expensive and not many people have bought into it yet that there's no incentive for people to make VR games.
Well,
Well,
I
like,
agree, but I mean, I agree, but I also disagree with just like the games that are available right now. Like for the ones that people have really put time and energy into,
Yeah.
they look amazing. Like, did
But
you
the
not
thing is
see
that,
the
like-
video of the one that Brandon from Node is trying to?
Oh no!
create?
I know what
That
you're talking
one
about.
is cool.
No, the ones that have a lot of time and effort put into them are really cool.
Yeah.
But there's like 4 of them.
Yeah, and you have to have budget for it.
And so, like, the thing is that all these huge, amazing VR games are coming more from indie developers and indie studios because the people with money in their pockets, they're like, not enough people have
Not where the
bought
money's
it.
at.
Yeah,
Like,
not
we're not
enough-
gonna make money off of this.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
not enough
that makes
people have
sense.
bought into VR for it to be worth it. And
Which is
granted,
crazy. They need to be helping if they're not going to work to actually like produce like quality VR. Like I guess now I feel like they should be helping to fund these indie people to really.
well, like, the thing is,
Like,
is that.
They're the echelon at the moment.
But the issue is that you gotta realize you have Valve and Oculus and PlayStation VR, which have already taken over each of the market. Like
Yeah.
Oculus, the most widely accepted headset, Steam with the most powerful headset, and Valve with the most popular headset, most powerful headset, and PSVR with the most consumer-friendly headset. That like all the other companies, they're like, well, like let's say for example Microsoft, they're like, well we can't make our own headset now. It's too late now. And so like they have to, so they're not really focusing on VR stuff, and because they don't have any money in the VR market right now. And granted, there isn't that much money in the VR market right now due to the fact that not many people own VR. But like.
Yeah.
Like I want to get VR, but again, it's just it's like
Yeah.
too expensive for itself.
I'd want it to become more of like the accessible,
Accessible.
accessible, you know, very revolutionary, and just that like it is like the full immersion kind of type of
Yeah.
experience. I think
Mhm.
that would be absolutely legit.
Like,
Now, like
what-
what we do have available now, though, like there was one of the videos on Node where they were playing a game that was from this guy who created a Rick and Morty type of VR, like little story game.
Mm-hmm.
It was so funny.
Actually, yeah, no, that's
oh my
it.
gosh! And it was like VR Inception, where like in the game you put on
Mhm.
VR headsets
Yeah.
and they take you into different places, and then like the stories.
Accounting plus.
Yes. It was
No,
so
yeah.
funny.
That
God, it was so
Justin
funny.
Roiland, the co-creator of Rick and Morty, he actually is his little indie company. I forget what they're called, but they've been making a bunch of VR games because there was Accounting Plus,
Mhm.
and then they also released a Rick and Morty VR game, like a legit Rick and Morty VR game.
Yeah, I saw them playing that too.
And then they also are working on and releasing a new one. I forget what it's called. It's like something Adventures, and it's like a full game in VR. Granted, you can also play it without VR, but like it's a whole game in VR.
Mhm.
So like, it's most of the indie studios that are like really putting their time and effort into
Yeah.
VR.
And it's cool because they are making some of the what's going to be needed later from the bigger
Mhm.
companies. It's going to be easier because these guys have kind of figured out a lot of it.
But like, honestly, I think VR is already on its decline.
Wow, really?
Well, think about it. Like, besides the people at VR used to be like this big hot button topic for like a year or two. But now there's like VR news is happening, it's just not big.
I would say
I agree, but like, I don't know if I would say it's in decline. I mean,
It's
I
like
guess
it's-
in terms of like market value, is that what you're talking about?
Well, yeah, and like technically, like I know it's not a decline, but when you don't have a lot of people who bought in it at the beginning, market value is super important
Right.
to something that's small like this. You need
it's like 4K TVs, right? When they first came out, that was a hot button topic, but now it's
well, that's
normal.
a little different.
Yeah, you can buy a 4K TV.
Well, that's
for
a
like
little
$100.
different because the fact is now most people have a 4K TV.
Exactly. So I feel like that's what VR is going to be. Maybe in the next
well,
2-3 years.
The problem is that VR is starting to decline, and it's no longer a big button issue. But like, not many people got it. Like a lot of people got it, but
when
like
Oculus 8 came out, everyone was like, "That's really cool,"
but like
I cannot afford that.
nobody. It hasn't become a widespread consumer product. With PlayStation VR being the most widespread consumer product, because people who had PS4s, they just bought a PSVR, and like, it's just sort of, it's weird thinking about VR and what it holds, because I'd love to see VR succeed. It's just,
yeah,
it's not looking like it's going to exceed until I think we are.
Until we hit that spike, that revolutionary moment.
I was about to say they need to like figure out a way to either make headsets as they are now cheaper. And
I think that's the biggest issue. If they make the headsets cheaper.
Well, like the thing is that one of the most commonly used points of VR right now are the ones you just put your smartphone in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
that's dumb.
And like that I mean, technically
I'm gonna buy one right now.
Definition, that's VR, but like it's not VR as it's meant to be. Also, speaking of VR, Nintendo Labo VR, anybody?
No.
Dude, part of me is like super tempted just to try it out.
Well, AI has been something very similar to.
But AI is being used everywhere.
I know.
AI was never meant to be something for like the common person to use. Granted, we use things like Alexa, Siri, and
but
stuff.
But those
like
are things that are helping us build AI, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. I think because like my youth pastor, he's a pretty funny guy because he's younger, and he's not my youth pastor. He is the youth pastor.
Mm-hmm.
I just work under him, so I call him like he's my youth pastor, but in like a boss way. But he is like terrified, I guess, in a way where he's like, I would never put myself in a VR system. And I was like, you wouldn't want to experience that at least once? And he's like, no. He's like, I feel like that's going to be a very hard turning point for the Christian faith. Is like AI and virtual reality and things that augment what we have now to the point where it's like it's going to be different. It's going to be a new form of medication. It's going to be a new form of you know, a drug or alcohol, you know, right? Because it's like it's going to be an escape again, just another form of escape, which like the motive behind it's so like innocent in a way, you know, like it really is. Like I look at it, I'm like, being able to fully immerse yourself in a world and experience what it would be like to be on the moon without actually being able to go to the moon, I'm like, that is awesome.
Well, like that's the point of media in general already, is to immerse you in a world. This is just a more effective way of doing so. Because like,
yeah, but then like people, of course, you know, it's gonna go that way where it's gonna be like there's gonna be the more suggestive games with the more suggestive.
I'm pretty sure there's already suggestive games.
Oh, there are.
No,
I think I've seen on Steam before.
For VR?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's one called like Gentleman's Club.
No, I'm just gonna
like in the
spoiler alert,
like,
Josh, for you. Any revolution in technology, there's some sort of sexual thing for it.
Well, of course, and I know that, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's gonna go that way.
It already has gone that way.
I thought it was pretty interesting. Like, just thinking back to like one of the biggest. I guess it wasn't the biggest, but I mean, like, how many other animes talk about virtual reality other than it's Sword Art Online?
Yeah, Overlord, but they don't mention it after.
Well, I don't think that was supposed to be VR though. They never mentioned it was VR. They mentioned he had
he was stuck in the game. I think it was.
Well, they never said it was VR. Like they said he had a keyboard in front of him. Because he kind
of like Log Horizon, where they at one moment I was on my computer
and next know he's in.
I feel like this is real world.
Like
which is a big difference.
But like there's I think there's more VR stuff than in anime and stuff like that. But like yeah, VR is interesting. I would love to see it go well because like I've done a lot of research into VR, and there's some really cool stuff people have been doing. And my favorite was that you may remember this. I did a science paper on this. Oh wait, you weren't in my science class. That's right. Never mind. I did a paper on this. There's a company that have made gloves, these big fat gloves that look like they're winter mitts, and what they have a bunch of actuators inside of them. And so, like, you can move it, and like it's your fingers.
That's expensive.
Oh, well, they're not selling them at the moment. They're just testing it.
Oh, wow.
And so,
I
like,
it was expensive to.
Oh, it was definitely expensive.
Probably was.
Well, it's funny because like the glove was here, and then they had like about a 2-inch tube of cables going into a computer, and like what happened is like it would he could do his fingers and it would do it. And then as he would grab something in the game, it would actually lock his fingers in that position like he was holding said item. Like it had this tape on the back, so when he would grab, let's say, a rock in the game, the tape would stop him from pushing his fingers any further, so it felt like he was holding a rock. Then it also had actuator pins in them, so if he like put his hand under a rain cloud and like he felt taps on his palm, it could control temperature as well inside the glove of if it was cold or if it was hot.
Yeah.
It was a super in-depth glove that they did, and it was really cool. But again, that's like the stuff we want, but that's going to be stupid expensive.
That'll probably be like the next 15, 20 years.
Oh yeah, no, like
Unless it jumps like phones or like computers, because like from
well,
the
technically
1990s.
phones didn't like jump like.
Well, like with the smartphones, like
Well,
we
yeah,
didn't have
that made one
smartphones.
jump, but like then those have been incremental ever since.
Exactly, like VR. Well, I feel like VR was going to be in the same light, except it's going to take longer because there's not as many major people pushing for it.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing.
There's not as many consumers as well. Phones for phones. Everybody has a phone,
Yeah.
but not everybody's going to have a VR headset.
Yeah,
Until-
and a lot of people don't. I know I've told Huber the story. Josh, have I ever told you the story of how I was this close to being able to use an HTC Vive when they first came out?
Really?
I was this close to being able to use one, and I just couldn't. I haven't told you this story.
No.
Story. So during the summer when VR just came out, and VR is like the biggest hot button topic. My sister was working that summer at some sort of retreat camp sort of thing.
Which sister?
Kinsley.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was sort of like a leadership camp, but for like a summer. And they did a bunch of cool things and stuff like that. And it was in Atlanta. Well, just outside of Atlanta, but like close enough.
Oh yeah.
So we went to go pick her up because they have this huge like graduation orientation night where everyone was invited to like come see what they learned and what they were gonna do in the future and stuff like that. And it was like a huge like end of the summer party thing, and everyone was invited, parents, siblings, all the above. So my family made a whole day of it. We met her, picked her up, and we went to Lenox Mall, which is huge.
Yeah, Lenox Mall is one of the richer malls out there.
Yeah. So I went to Lenox Mall, and I was walking around, found the GameStop. The GameStop had a PlayStation VR setup area, and they were like letting people try it out, but the line was ridiculously long for that. And I went to the Microsoft store, and they had an HTC Vive set up, and they had a sign-up list for when you wanted to go. And I talked to the employee, and I said, "Can I go? What's the next open time slot?" They said 6 o'clock, and it's about 5:30, and I'm like, "Yes,
Sign me up.
sign me up. Put me down for that slot." Kane and Hanley. And so like I'm walking around the mall, and I told my parents, "Hey, at 6 o'clock, I'm going to be trying out this VR headset."
And they were like, nope.
Well, no. They were like, "Okay, cool."
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Legit.
Kinsley, on the other hand,
Oh.
she was like, "Hey, just letting you know, the orientation doors open at 6:30 for the orientation." And we went like, "Okay." And she's like, "So we should leave like now." And it was like 5:50, and I went, "Look, Kinsley.
I know we're here for you.
And I'm like, "Kinsley, I know this is an event. I know this is like a big event for you, but Kinsley, right there on the other side of this little rope here is the cutting edge in video game technology. And I'm 10 minutes away from just trying it out. And I'm never going to get an opportunity like this again." And she's like, "I mean, come on, Kanan, that's..." And I'm like, no, Kinsley. You don't get it. This is it. And so eventually my parents were like, "All right, Kane, we're going to have to go." So I had to tell the guy to remove me from the list. And we went on and got into the car. And my parents were like asking questions about it. And they were like sort of trying to be smug, like, "Oh, how much is it?" Like trying to be like smug, like maybe they'll surprise him for like his birthday or Christmas. And then I went, "Dad," I'm like, "Dad, the headset itself is..." At that time, the headset was like $500, $600.
Yeah.
I'm like, the HTC Vive was like $500, $600. I'm like, and then a PC to run it is at least gonna run you about $800 to $1,000. And he went, okay. And I'm like, yeah, this was a once in a lifetime opportunity for me at least.
Yeah.
And so like we get there, doors opened at 6:30. Banquet didn't actually start till 7:30 though.
Wow.
So we sat there for an hour doing nothing.
And I'm sure you looked over at your sister.
I did look over at my
stank
sister.
eye.
I was so salty because like we sat there for an hour and did nothing. They didn't even have food out at 6:30. It was just sort of like everyone was walking in, and I'm just like, and every minute that passed, I'm like, I could have played because it was like the demo that like everyone had the one that you could draw in, and then they also had the one where you were like on a roof with 2 pistols, and then there were like drones flying at you from every direction.
Oh man, that sounds like fun.
I know.
Oh, dude. And the game that Node played, like, because Brandon from the team is trying to create and develop it, and he created a way to develop the game from within the game.
Yeah.
Which
That's
I
weird.
think is freaking cool. But
pretty
basically,
weird.
there's a gun that you can shoot out, and it'll spawn items, and then you interact with those items that spawn based off of how they're programmed with whatever you use in the game.
Basically,
at that moment.
Huber, they basically essentially made a game, but sort of Gmod style that they could
Yep.
spawn in anything, a sort of debug menu.
Yep, it's really cool. It's really cool.
Gmod
And,
VR would be insane.
And
that's
like-
basically what this is, because he actually has these things that he calls helmet crabs. Yeah, helmet crabs.
No, I couldn't
And-
imagine that jumping on your face.
And dude, like they look like little VR headsets, and like they're crawling around with like a one solo red eye. They kind of remind me of the little bowler hat robots from Meet the Robinsons, but they're like crawling around and jumping at you, and you either can punch them, grab them midair, and then slam them on the ground and destroy them. If you guys haven't watched it, just watch it.
I know, I've seen.
Can they jump on your face?
Yes.
They try to jump on your face.
Like,
the idea's like
what
they're
do
gonna
you have to take
over,
it off?
They're gonna take over you. No, it's
Like
like
you're
supposed to-
you
you're
take-
supposed
you
to
take-
stop
take
them.
damage.
Yeah.
Oh, so it doesn't like stick on your face?
No.
No.
So I don't think you. it
But,
can't-
like,
it's
yeah.
not there yet. When it does, though, that'd be really cool to be able to go, oh my gosh, and grab it and throw it down.
But the point of the game, like, basically, what Josh said, like, they programmed the game from in the game, it's just the demo that he had playable was sort of like the game's broken, go fix it. So he's not actually coding the game
No,
while in the game. It's just in the demo he had, it was like sort of meta like that.
Yeah. But they're
I know.
that's what's been like chattered about and stuff, and like some of the like, I mean, not chattered about, but like I don't want to spoil it though.
Spoilers.
I won't do it because I've watched too much of SAO season 3.
Oh yeah.
But like
They
that's
should
what.
stop that, Josh.
But Kirito, he's getting into some serious stuff.
Hey, I'd stop that if I were you,
I'll
Josh.
stop. But,
Well, no, I'm talking about watching it ahead
Oh,
of
I
time.
haven't watched it. I stopped when you told me to stop, which was on episode 12
That's still too far.
of the sub.
You know.
I couldn't resist you. I was like, I need to watch this. But I think they're past episode 12 now in the dubbed, which there should be 25 episodes.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a 25 episode season.
And then we're gonna watch it.
Yeah,
together.
in
We
AP.
will. We will come here and watch it.
Come
on
here.
TV.
On that TV.
No. I'm trying to think who all because
No, Dubois.
no dude was.
Daniel, if he's seen it, he's seen season 2.
No, he has not. Remember, we stopped watching season 2 halfway through,
Well,
and he never finished it.
he would be here. We could invite Jacob. I mean, I don't know if he'd come, but
We could invite him. No, so like the only problem is that there's not a lot of space in that area.
There wasn't a lot of space last time. When we moved, like, what was that?
We moved this
Right there.
Well, no, but the difference was that was 3 of us. No, yeah, Daniel wasn't with us, was he?
I thought it was. It was me.
It was me, you, and Noah Davis.
Noah Davis. And I thought we had Daniel, Caleb.
Caleb came down intermittently, but I don't think Daniel. Oh, Daniel was there. That was right. Daniel was there.
Because we had 3 people here. We had 2
Well,
people
no,
in the
no.
2
Caleb
seats.
wasn't here the whole time. Caleb only like showed up
Ooh.
intermittently. Because well, Josh, while you were away in Nepal, we
you guys
watched
watched
Erased.
Yep.
Yeah, and so like we had Noah and Huber in there, and then Daniel and I took the couch. And sadly, maybe whenever we do the SAOAP, we can figure out a better system.
I'm
Because
down. As long as I get to watch with you guys.
like this TV is the worst because
It's the worst.
Well, it's the worst because, like, it's too big to move. And then it only has, the most HD thing it has on there is a DVI port.
Oh.
Which is used for computer monitors.
Right. Well,
DVI-D.
yeah, we could do that. But with that TV, probably we could hook up.
Oh no, that
HDMI to
TV
a
would be
computer.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that TV wouldn't be any big deal. But, like, yeah. It just, it wouldn't be as comfortable, and we have to sit through 25 episodes.
Yeah.
Because the rest we did 12 episodes, and, like, towards the end of it, we were...
Ooh,
like,
that was long. Like, the
Really?
first little bit was fine, but they started kind of getting kind of, like, stuffy, I guess is the
Yeah,
word.
like,
Oh,
that's
down here.
Down here, it was
Down
got
here got
very
stuffy.
stuffy towards the end.
It was just getting hot. basically.
Nothing beats your living room, Josh. Your
Yeah.
parents' living room. So what you need to do is
Okay.
just...
Buddy's
That-
gone.
I was about to say, just...
Brianna has watched it too.
What the?
What's that noise?
That was scary, Huber.
I don't know. What was that?
Well, Huber's gonna die.
It's alive!
No! Fighting it. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
no.
man.
So yeah, Josh, we may just need to take over your parents' living room.
I'm down for it.
Just go like, hey. It's like, Josh, you're home. And it's just like, hi.
I am, and here's all my friends.
Yeah.
And you guys can't be here.
You guys have to
need
leave for the
leave.
night and maybe the other half of the day.
Yeah.
Dude,
Bye.
Yeah, maybe this time I won't flash Brianna my furry belly.
Yeah. She's a goofy goober.
Ooh,
Goofy goober.
Ooh.
But
Rawr.
Alright.
she started watching
X3.
Fairy Tale, and she's now trying to get through My Hero Academia because she's like, all right. So I listened.
Why
to
did
the-
you say
I
it like,
listened-
hold on, why did you say get through My Hero Academia like it's a
Because we
slog?
started it.
No,
Me
but
and
why?
her did
But
together.
why are you saying it like it's a bad thing? You're saying like get through.
That's
it.
not how I intended it. Stop taking my words out of context.
That's literally what your
no,
words
Huber,
were.
he's a liar and a false prophet. Don't listen to him. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
He's a whore.
He's a sheep in wolf clothing.
He's the shape in wolf's clothing.
He's a
He's a whore.
Wow.
Actually, I've been studying the Hebrew Bible, and many times during the Judges period,
Mm-hmm.
Israel is referred to as a whore,
Yes.
as an unfaithful wife.
Yes.
Many.
All right.
In the book of Ezekiel,
Mm-hmm.
it's sometimes worse language.
Yeah,
I mean,
we've gone over it.
Yes.
So I think
Very entertaining.
It is
we're gonna have
entertaining.
to wrap this up because Josh's phone's run low on batteries.
Oh no, phone.
We're good. We're still recording, but we might want to wrap.
Yeah, we
this
can
up.
wrap this up here. I think
Wrap this up.
Okay.
Let's wrap it up.
Do it.
Continue, Huber. On Jesus closing, why don't you talk about your readings of the?
Yes. So mostly we did it. I took it as a course. It was a pretty interesting course. We went over the 3 parts of the Hebrew Bible, the Torah, the Netuvim, and the. It's not called the prophets, but it's called something else. And it was pretty interesting because she taught it in a point of view of no other religions besides Judaism,
Mm-hmm.
which is good, taking into account that. And then it was also good because she taught it. She made. Oh, well, if you look at it, it's really interesting because, like people who dedicate their lives to this,
Yeah.
you can see the difference in writing between, like, say, I don't know if this is true or not, but like Genesis. Actually, this is one. In Genesis 1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And like maybe halfway through the book or halfway down that chapter, it'll change how the name of God's written. So like, there's Yahweh, which means God,
Yeah.
but there's
Well,
also
that's the proper name.
yes.
Yeah.
There's also but there's it starts with an E. It's not Edom. It's
Elohim.
Elohim.
Elohim is just like God.
Yeah, and it'll, if it switches between the,
Still capital
between the
G,
two, yeah. If it switches between the two, normally that means there's a different writer
Mhm.
that has come in to take the place of whoever's been writing or just adding something in, which is very interesting. How, and then there's so much stuff. Anyways, yes, it's
All
very
right.
very interesting.
So, Huber, throwing it back to you again.
Oh no,
Where can the lovelies find us?
SoundCloud at
Fastest.
the Scatterpot Podcast.
Instagram.
Instagram at the Scatterpot Podcast, Scatterpot_podcast, and then
YouTube.
YouTube. Oh yeah, I was about to say YouTube. Scatterpot
The
Podcast.
Scatterpot podcast.
But no, I'm just gonna let you know. This is how quickly I want. Wow, this is how fast I want you to do it, Huber. youtube.com/Scatterpot Podcast, iTunes and Google Play at Scatterpot Podcast, and Instagram at Scatterpot_podcast. I want you to go that way. Go.
Pounce is on you.
I'm Kanan.
I'm John.
I'm David.
And this is the Scatterpot Podcast. We thank you guys for listening. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy your summer, college students.
Oh yeah, and that ending syllable is ketuvim.
Yes, good to be.
Kit. Hey Daniel, still make us an outro song or a little jingle, please.
I think we should make that little deep voice version that I did for the last episode the constant opener.
No.